of their paper is Evolution of Dusty Plasma. Evolution of Dusty Plasma will be presented by Ovik Kumar Basu and Mridul Bose. Who will present the paper?
Ma'am, I am Avik Kumar Basu. I will present the paper here. Am I audible, ma'am?
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Is my screen
Yes.
is my screen visible clearly?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, welcome,
you can see.
welcome everyone. I am Avik Kumar Basu. The topic of my today's presentation is evolution of dusty plasma, the challenges dusty plasma have to the opportunities this subject present. Now, what is dusty plasma? From my previous speaker's presentation, you already got an idea about what a plasma is. I am just going to add one more component to it, dust. That is, a dusty plasma is a traditional plasma which contains electrons, ions, neutral atoms, and dust particles, which are much greater in size and mass compared to the traditional plasma components. Also, these particles are charged, mostly negative, but may get positively charged depending on the charging process. Now, you guys are thinking, okay, this guy is going to bore us talking about dirt. The answer is yes and no. Yes, I am going to talk about dirt, and hence it's called dirty plasma. And you will get to know why it's relevant to you in a bit. But no, I will not bore you with the nitty-gritty of physics, which is very much complex in nature, and hence it's also called complex plasma. And also, it is out of my scope of this discussion. Rather, I will present you a holistic picture about where do you find this dusty plasma, how does it affect you all, and what we can really achieve studying this topic. Now, dusty plasma is ubiquitous. That is, it can be found everywhere. To start with, an ordinary flame is a very weakly ionized plasma which contains soot particles, that is, carbon dust. This beautiful picture is of Eagle Nebula, which is mainly made of dust clouds and gas. Now, if we zoom here, these billions of light years long dust columns get charged by photoionization from these little red dots you are seeing here. They are actually stars forming. Now, this is a picture of Hale-Bopp comet, which comprises two components. The blue one you see here is the ion tail, that is the plasma, and the white one is the dust component. Okay, now this astonishing picture is of Saturn's B ring, as was discovered by Voyager 2 in 1980. Now, if we look closely at this picture, you can see some black stripes in the dust rings. These are called spokes. These are due to the electromagnetic interaction within the dust ring and can change into different forms, as you can see here. Okay, fine. Now, this bizarre picture was taken at night where the sky is literally shining. These clouds are called noctilucent cloud, which forms in summer polar mesopause, that is at very high altitudes. And you can see it from this graph that they are mainly occurring during the summer and are believed to be charged ice crystals. They are responsible for radar backscattering, which is a problem. Up to this point, you may have realized that dusty plasma is present almost everywhere in nature. But how does it actually affect us? Hence the challenges. When a rocket takes off, it releases a huge amount of charged dust, mainly aluminum oxide particles, which can get trapped at high altitudes by Earth's magnetic field, and in turn contribute to the formation of noctilucent clouds I just spoke about, a real problem for radar communication. In fact, NLC has increased in the last 30 years. Now, this is a machine where silicon wafers or semiconductor chips in our common tongue, which are used in every modern computer, mobile, TV, etc., are etched with the help of plasma. But it was a huge problem for the engineers and the scientists to make this process dust-free. No matter how much precautions they took to make the environment dust-free, those chips were always getting contaminated by dust. One day, a guy accidentally pointed a laser into the device and wow, he saw that these dusts were actually forming inside the plasma and got suspended due to the applied electric field. When they turned off the electricity power, these dusts fell onto the chips, contaminating those chips. Now, we all know that stars are fueled by the process called thermonuclear fusion. We, the human, are trying very eagerly to make that process happen on Earth to solve our energy crisis. And we try to do so in a type of device called tokamak, which is nothing but a huge plasma reactor. And if there is plasma, most probably there are dusts too. As you can see in this picture, that somebody wrote dust on a dust layer inside the D3 tokamak. But how is this problematic? Okay, this is the largest fusion device mankind has ever constructed. It's called ITER. There are 7 countries, including India, who are building this gigantic device in France. How monstrous is this thing? Let's have a close look. Look at my mouse pointer. This is a man standing here with respect to this whole big machine. Now, I think you get the picture. How monstrous is this machine? So, several kgs of dust will be produced every day in a machine like this big. And as it is a mainly hydrogen plasma device, the dust will retain tritium, which is radioactive and pose a great health and safety hazard. Also, the density of plasma reduces, the fast wall material degrades fast, and in turn, it loses the power which it should generate, an ultimate loss. Now, where are challenges, there are always some opportunities, some hopes. As we have already seen that dust is present almost everywhere, so no branch of science can ignore the physics of dust, such as space and astrophysics. You have already seen the Saturn's bearing, or how hard that collapse of interstellar clouds into star formation. Or in crystal physics, like dust crystals, there may be dust liquid, dust gas also, like phase transition. In semiconductor technology, you have already seen in my previous slides. In nanotechnology, agglomeration and coagulation. In fusion research, problem of dust in tokamaks, I already have spoke about. And microbiology, electrostatic disruption of bacteria. These are only few examples of many versatile applications possible and are being made in this right now. Now, dust does not always have undesirable consequences, as we can see from this picture. Let me zoom it out. Okay, these are some remarkable experimental discoveries from 1980 to 2001. I couldn't get the latest data. Dusty plasma is a very rapidly, in fact exponentially growing research field, as you can see from this graph representing paper published over years. Like on 82, you can see here only 1 or 2 papers was being produced per year, whereas on 2002, it came to 250 papers per year published, and it's still growing exponentially. So to conclude, for its infinitely large domain, versatile applications, and unsolvable complexities, the field of DPP has become a challenging approach, not only for near future, but also for a long...
Mr. Basu, please wrap up.
Yes, I am almost finished, ma'am. Thank you. For a long, long period of time to come. Thank you all for being patient with me.
Thank you, Ovik Kumar Basu. Can you listen to me?
Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Okay. It's a very good presentation. Any question from the participant? No more question from the participants. So, Mr. Basu,
Yes, ma'am.
your presentation, Mr. Basu, your presentation is a very technical presentation, and it was a little bit continuous from the previous presentation.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So that is evolution of dusty plasma. Some of the example was given in the previous given by the previous presenter. Thank you, Mr. Basu, for your presentation. Stay with us. Now I'm going to the next participant.